Hey, good evening. Welcome to Relationship Flow Sip and Chat Friday night. We are on here tonight, ready to talk about something very, very serious, but we're going to do it in a funny way. As we know, Mr. Darrell always got some comedy
Oh.
for us. So, how are everybody doing tonight?
Doing well.
Doing good.
Okay. Camp, what's going on? What you sipping on?
I just had this orange lemonade. I got
Okay.
it from a on business out here in
Mm.
Peaks. It's really
That
good.
sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how's it taste?
It tasted really, really good.
Okay.
It tastes really good.
It's gone. I just finished. But other than that, I'll be sipping
Oh, it
on.
was really good then.
It was. Other than that, I'll be sipping on alkaline
That
water.
was it was really good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. How you doing, Daryl?
Doing well, doing well. I don't have any drink in here because I was rushing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Okay. All
I'm just
right.
gonna
Well,
sip on my saliva.
ew.
I mean, that's what they used to tell us growing up. If you're so thirsty, drink your
Yes.
saliva.
I have heard people say that to
Right.
their kids. Yes.
Yes, that's what I was told growing up.
Well, I'm sipping on some red wine tonight. Something
Oh, it
light.
looks good.
Yeah, cupcake.
Okay.
One of
Okay.
my favorites. Yes. It's the red velvet.
Oh,
All right. So let's start with
I know
our.
nothing about wine.
I know you don't, Daryl. I know.
I'm more of a whiskey girl, but
Okay. What kind? What you like?
I like peach whiskey, but I like a little moonshine, but I don't really put that out there
Oh,
like
you
that.
like the
But
stuff people make in their bathtub?
I mean, I know how to brew my own stuff, so I like stuff to take the hair off your chest.
Oh, okay. You got a still in the back.
Wait, so you got wait,
No,
so you so you got hair on your chest? That's what we learned. We just learned you got hair on your chest.
I have a high. I'm just say I have a high tolerance to alcohol, so I don't really drink. What's the point of drinking when you can, if you can't drink for drink? What's the point of drinking? So I just drink
Got
water
you.
for the most part.
Okay. Any current events?
Hmm. There's been quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go there? You can go.
No, anyway, we're going to go to current events, and then I'll bring up what I was going to bring up.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. In Los Angeles, the unified school district out there, for the city of Los Angeles, they have mandated um vaccinations for 12 and above.
Oh wow.
Because it's the second largest school district in the nation, and they service over 600,000 students.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for teachers and students, for staff,
Teachers and
students, faculty,
students.
yeah, and other
Mm,
staff.
okay.
Um, so
Wonder
that's
how.
like and then a school district in Oregon is telling parents not to let their kids play outside after school or on the weekend so that public school can stay open. What kind of yeah? They
Interesting.
they're saying the community and the schools, how schools are a safe place for a lot of adults and children
Yes.
alike.
Yes.
They eat, they're there most of the day, they learn, they get counseling, they have other services.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying that if people remain inside and still wear their masks inside and not have gatherings and all this other stuff, even if they're vaccinated, that it'll make sure the safe haven of the schools stay open.
Hmm.
So they're
Okay.
asking parents to eliminate play dates, limit family gatherings on the weekend or after school. And I'm like, but you really can't control that. But because they want to the school, they said there's a possibility they're going to go back fully virtual, but they want the school to remain open. They don't want to close it for virtual or anything outside of just coming inside the school every day. So it's a hard ask for parents because if you've been held up, we've been held up for a year and a half. Kids want to play outside.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
For sure.
the other one, current event that just really came up today, R&B singer Jaheim, he got arrested because for endangerment of animals because somebody like a neighbor called on him. He had 6 dogs. I guess he was breeding like 6 dogs in crates where half of the crates was filled with water.
What?
Outside of his driveway.
Wait, did it because of the flood or something like that? Why did it have water in them? Do we know?
I don't know. They just, you know how you have, it was just 6 crates with dogs in them, and like from the news article.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear it. How did the water get in there?
When the crates, it was halfway filled with water
Mm-hmm.
that each dog was placed in, the ones that were outside of his driveway, and it had feces, and they weren't fed and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So do they know how the water got in the crate? Like, did somebody purposely put the dogs in water?
It seems like from their initial investigation, they're saying the water was put in the crates by a person.
Oh wow.
And then they said when they went into the residence, they found 19 other dogs, mostly different types of terriers, like mixed breeds.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he was breeding, and they didn't have the proper access to water and food, so that's why he got arrested.
Oh my gosh.
So in all, you're talking about 25 pets, but 6 of them were outside in crates, still with water and feces and stuff. So, and some of the dogs said they had passed. So, I mean, I'm not a person. I used to be, but I'm. Feed them.
We lost you.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. I didn't hear either.
I said if you're gonna have them and give them access to water and food, stuff like that.
Right. So yes. If you're gonna have pets,
I mean, the rule is if you can't take care of 2, don't get 25.
Right.
You know, it just seems ridiculous to have that many pets and none of them are cared for. Everybody's all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what alerted them was a neighbor 6 on the driveway in the front lawn. The crate had filled with water. So that's why he was reported.
Well, yeah.
Well, I wonder what's going on with him. I mean, how do you walk by a crate full of water and feces, the dog living in the toilet basically, and you walk by that? Like, that's kind of confusing to me. And then inside the house, if the dogs were all in kept for, the house couldn't have been too clean either. So what's going on? What's really going on there?
Right. And I was thinking it could be something mental. Like, you know, people are going through
That's what I was thinking. Mm-hmm.
Right. And somebody was like, well, his house, they reported his house is close. His house is assessed at almost $1 million. I mean, you can live in any type of housing and it doesn't matter whether it's $1 million or 200,000.
That's right. That's right. There's somebody have that in their song. They turn a luxury place into a trap house. I mean, you know,
I mean,
it doesn't matter how much you pay for it.
I mean, I was just thinking about something would have to be wrong with you to see anything suffering at this point. You know, or maybe he got to the point where he couldn't afford them anymore. He didn't know what to do. I have all these dogs. I can't afford them. I can't keep up. So maybe something like that happened. You know, maybe all his staff quit after the pandemic. So he was trying to take care of them by himself or something like that. But something going on. I definitely want to hear more. This is the first time I'm hearing this, so I definitely want to follow it to see what was going on. This is just crazy.
Well, it just hit the news like 3 or 4 o'clock today. So
gotcha.
It's like fresh. They're doing it. But they had, and I think I'm like, it's way more to this. So just the whole mental health thing is definitely important and it's serious. So those are my current events.
We can talk about the violence all day long because it's happening everywhere. I mean, the latest crazy tragedy was in, I believe, North Carolina, where they said a car full of teenagers unloaded on a house, and they had over 100-something rounds were found, and they said it sounded like a war zone outside. I didn't listen to the video because you know you don't want to hear that. I just read the story,
Right.
and I think they killed a 3-year-old in that.
They
So they
did.
shot up the house, didn't get any of the adults, and killed the kid.
Never. Oh, did they say what it stemmed from? What it was over?
They haven't released any names. At the time when I read it, it was like 2-3 o'clock this morning. They didn't release any
It was just
names or
all high
anything.
schoolers.
And yeah, they said they believe it was a car full of teenagers.
Yeah.
Dang.
And he got shot in his head. Like,
Oh, the baby?
yeah, the 3-year-old. But my thing, over 100, it was over 100 rounds. You're right.
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what they said.
That's a lot.
So that means they had obviously had to reload, and this is whatever it was. It seemed serious. You know, because I've seen a lot of shootings, and I've never seen or heard 100 rounds being expelled. Even these drive-by shootouts, you know, you don't see anything like that. This was
maybe a couple of shots,
they were trying,
but not 100.
Yeah, they were trying to hit someone for something. I mean, look, you can't mess with people today. You leave people alone because you don't know. People everybody going through so much stress. Don't be someone's stress relief, and now you got 100 rounds shot in your house.
Right.
Yeah,
but the thing that gets me is that nobody in that car said, "Hey, Ray has a little girl, a little boy in the house."
So
like,
I mean, that's way no. That's way after the fact. You feel me? For the baby in the house, hey, we about to go shoot up a house. How about that? Like, hey, I'm not going with y'all. You know, there's a lot that happened before. You had to get the guns, get in the car, get gas. We're not saying high backs 812. Get the car, and get there. And now shoot this whole house up. Like today is a lot different. And what I see is as the street rules, where usually like no women and children. It wasn't. People weren't really shooting up houses before. You know, you try to catch that person when you caught them outside.
Right.
Now it's anything goes. We don't care where you're at, who you're with.
You're right. You know, I said that to my daughter. I said that to my daughter. I said, nobody said, hey, she said, they probably said, F that baby and her. And we just gonna do what we gotta do.
And nor is anyone afraid of what the consequences are. Right? Because you go there, you shoot, who's getting away? You got a car full of people. Everybody has Ring doorbells or cameras on every street. It's very difficult for you not to be on camera and for you to get away. So the thought process to me is bananas because it's like you're going to get caught, right? You're going to get caught.
Eventually.
Yeah, but it's not even like they fear that. You feel me? They're not even. The mentality today is, you know, it's like whatever. Live for right now. Don't care what happens after right now. I mean, we'll deal with that when we get there. Because this is crazy, absolutely insane. It's only getting worse, and that's what I said. You don't want to mess with anybody. You don't want to. I know a person around here. Packages were getting stolen off their porch, so they put a package on their porch full of feces. You know, to get back at the person, and they were like, that was the worst thing they ever could have done. Because once the person found out it was feces, they got mad, came back and broke all their windows out.
Oh, man. So you're going to get mad at me for doing something to you, for doing something to me.
Yeah. So it's a lose-lose situation. So you just got to take that loss and leave it alone. Like, you know, he's like, yeah, I'm going to get him back. Hopefully it teaches him a lesson. No, they came back and broke all his windows out. So it's like you can't mess with people because the conscience is off right now. People have zero conscience. They just do what they want, and it's whatever. You know, it's just bananas. That's why, listen, if you interact with anybody, make sure you're ready to take it all the way because people today are not playing. No simple arguments anymore. You don't know where that argument could end up. They
were talking about my daughter and I went for a walk today, and Channel 10 News was out there and they asked to interview us about the violence in the city. So I agree, even though I look like I was on my jog. I agree. So I was on the news earlier today. But what they were saying is that city council is proposing that they do something about these mixed titles. I think that's what they call it, mixed titled houses, where the houses have been passed down from generation to generation, but now they're empty, or they're squatters, or there's drugs, or so they're talking about doing something with these houses to stop the violence in the city.
Are the houses committing violence?
They just want more tax money.
I'm not confused.
It sounds to me like it's just another way of claiming eminent domain and taking over property.
Correct.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah,
that's what it
and then
like.
they'll fix these houses up and sell them thousands of dollars. When I was in LA, I went down to Compton, and some of the houses down there, I think I was talking about it, were like $600,000 for these rundown, older houses that people have, and it's crazy. And the dude was like paying like $25 a month. Like, what? Where? How are you doing that? Right? You said you're low income. What are you talking about? I'm so confused. But he says the game out there, the police will, and this is what he said. He said sometimes police will plant things in a home or whatever, because they find drugs in your home, they can repossess your home.
Right.
Your home is not yours anymore. Even if it was like grandma's house and, man had the drugs in the house, but now man got grandma's house taken, which may have been in the family for 60, 70 years. That was passed down, down type house. And then they get the house, make it better and sell it for more. It's crazy.
That's part of RICO laws, right?
Oh, that's what it is? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar. I thought it was crazy that you can lose your house like that.
There's also an article about this, but dealing with Hurricane Ida in Louisiana, they were saying, like, majority in the Black community, how when houses are passed down, they're not putting anybody's name, like the new name. Like if your grandmother or great-grandmother, grandfather passed away, the house is still in their name, even though they're not living. So when you go to get FEMA help or help from the government or anything, because you can't because you don't have the appropriate documents. So they said since it benefits a lot of the our communities, Black and brown, that they're changing some of the rules this time because they learned from Hurricane Katrina, because it was 16 years to the date of that when Hurricane Ida hit Louisiana. So now how they had the whole levee things rebuilt. Their project was they said it was about $16 billion to redo the levees in New Orleans. But even though they did it around the city of New Orleans, they didn't do it for the outside communities. So those other cities, suburban cities or whatever outside, they're pushing to get new levees and stuff too, and help for their house, to rebuild. So that's a big thing too. So developers are going down to houses that are that kind of got destroyed with the Hurricane Ida, and they're feeding and offering only so much, couple of thousands for families, I guess, to start anew. But they take all that money and make thousands, millions of dollars. So they was like, watch out for scammers, watch out for people you think who may be a part of FEMA and are not. They're giving these promises. So it's like, you can't win.
And you can't go anywhere with a couple $1,000s for your house. You can't go anywhere. It's kind of similar to, when they tore the projects down in Philadelphia. Like, where you're putting way fewer houses on the plot of land, which is, of course, by design, so that you're moving in a different type of person. But you're not giving people enough to really live in a good way. Yeah.
Well, it's tough. I mean, when you come to somebody when they're down, you offer something, sometimes it's like, you know what, I'm going to take this. It sounds like something viable at the time, because you can't really think about it, and you're down on your luck. Your house is gone. You don't have anything. kids is crying, this money sounds like it might make a difference, But it goes back to us taking care of our business. A lot of times in our communities, we don't take care of business. So grandma died, we have the house, but we don't go and spend that couple of dollars and get it in our names, right? We don't make that change. And in the long run, it becomes a problem. Actually, I know a guy right now that's going through that, where is in his mom's house, mom dies, been there for a while. And now it's something where they're trying to actually take the house because something, whatever, he didn't do something, and she's not here, and it's no really executive of the state. So, but it's all because you didn't take care of business. We really have to take care of our business and whatever it is, so that we can be in the right position when something comes about. Then we can take advantage of these things.
Right.
And sometimes you don't even know what the business is that needs to be taken care of. And then someone, like you said, Daryl, comes along and say, oh, hey, do this, do that. And, or they come along with a new claim. I mean, that kind of happened to my family when my grandfather died. We had a nice house, a big house where all the family was living. And when my grandfather died, they basically told my grandmother she had to leave the house, even though him and the owner of my grandfather and owner of the house had a gentleman's agreement. That yes, they had a gentleman agreement. It was like a rent to own kind of thing. And that we had been in that house for, at least since my mother and aunts were younger.
Oh, wow.
And and what was my grandmother going to do? She lost her husband. This person is saying, yeah, I know you remember that, Neil. Yes. This person is saying, look, you can't stay here. This is my family's house. You can't stay here. Basically.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Listen, take care of your business. I know a lady worked with my mother. I guess the guy never got an official divorce, but she was with him for like 30 years, 35 years. But when he died, his wife came back and took everything, kicked her out.
Yeah, that happens
Took
too.
everything.
I've seen that.
Now you got to start over. And she had nothing. She everything was his name. She's like, he was the man. Everything was his name. Cars was his name. House was his name. I never thought about this, but he died unexpectedly. Listen, take care of your business. That's all I say. Take care of your business.
This one thing.
Out in the cold.
Yes. Definitely one thing that when women weren't taught so much so back in the day. Your husband took care of everything. Like some women didn't even know how to write a check after their husband died, how to pay a bill.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I make sure all my women know how to pay the bills. They got to get paid now.
So you make sure they know how to pay bills.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why.
So considerate.
That's
thinking about us.
That's why I be educating. I be so adamant about people knowing about Social Security, about 401ks, about benefits, annuities. And I also tell people, people don't. Okay, so let's say you have a father, your mother and your father are married. One of them passed, but they have a 401 like pension or something, and then they switch it, put the kids, like the kids are adults, they put the kids on. But if they get remarried, the kids don't get anything. That second wife does. Yeah, they get everything. Yep. So you're out of your inheritance. So other documents have to be written down, and that second spot, like the second wife, has to agree that if the husband, whatever, either spouse passes, that he or she is signing their rights away so it can go to the kids that he had from the first marriage. But but if not, the kids don't have no inheritance. So it's just a lot of stuff. That was in the newspaper today too. It keeps happening.
But that's another reason, like to Daryl's point, that's another reason not to live with somebody that's still married.
Right.
Hello. Like you gotta do something today. Well, I'm going because I ain't gonna worry about everything taken because of this nonsense, or even have to battle somebody else that hasn't been around for 30 years. Why are you putting me in that position?
Right, but even if
just go handle your business.
But even if you get divorced and remarried and your ex-spouse does not, if you was married to them for 10 years and a day, if something you pass, your new spouse does not get the Social Security. The ex-spouse does if they don't remarry. They get all of that.
Is that everywhere, or is that certain states, or is
that's federal? That's a.
I thought they had to split it. Or it was like a first come first serve kind of thing.
Well, it's based on like, so I'm married now. If I divorce and get remarried, if my ex-husband, if he doesn't get remarried, but although I'm got a new marriage, since we've been married over 10 years in a day, he would get my Social Security. If he doesn't get remarried, he would get that, not my second spouse, like not the new spouse. But
so what if your second spouse you were with them for 10 years?
They're not entitled to their Social Security. They won't get it. If my ex-spouse is still alive and we've been married for at least 10 years in a day, if my ex-spouse does not remarry, they would get my Social Security. Now, if they do remarry, they won't get it, and my new spouse would get it.
So we are just giving what we feel. We are not experts, so don't take us as being experts.
Yes, I am not an expert.
Don't try to sue us because we gave some wrong information.
Right, I am not an expert. I just
we're just giving our opinion. Let's put some protection out there. Let's put some protection out there for
give the disclaimer. Give the disclaimer.
We had to put some protection. We are not experts. We're just giving our opinion on what we think. Will not be sued or held accountable or liable. Thank you, guys. Nobody's gonna come up on us.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Let's get into our topic. Love bombing. Love bombing. Are you being rushed to love?
Oh, I hope not.
You say you hope not. Love bombing. All right. So you want to start with like a definition, or?
Absolutely, yes. Because I was about to say, give us a little definition of what love bombing is,
please.
Okay. So it's when someone gives you over the top affection, flattery. They want to give you gifts, but the purpose of all of this is to control you at some point. It's usually a tactic used by people who have narcissistic personalities, but it's all about control. But it feels good and it looks good, especially in the beginning. But it often turns into things like gaslighting. Things like treating you poorly and ultimately abuse. I mean, you're already, it's emotional, mental, and sometimes crosses over to physical when you're no longer doing what the person expects from you. When I've done all of this for you. So does
this include?
Go ahead.
I just had a question. Does this include financial abuse as well?
Does it include what?
Financial abuse as well.
It could.
Okay.
It could. But the actual love bombing is the rushing you to love by just showering you with attention, affection, and everything to make you feel like you're obligated to love this person back.
But so what's the difference in normally courting someone then? Because that's what it sounds like. You normally, when you court someone, you're going to do those things. You're going to try to make them feel like the only girl in the world. And you're trying to woo them. You're trying to make yourself look better by the things you're doing. What the difference between, I think, what a normal dating, honeymoon period looks like, and this love bombing? Is it like it's on steroids that it's doing a whole?
It's on steroids. It's on steroids. Okay. Yes, of course. In the beginning, everybody's putting their best foot forward. You want to show the person that you want them. You want them to want you. So you're doing all those kinds of things. But love bombing is on steroids.
Okay.
Like you're moving in after a month.
Yes.
You mean you mean it was a one night stand and that was 3 weeks ago and you're still here?
Now we get married.
Yeah.
Hey,
Get married.
you ain't got to go home at all. This one night stand turned into 3 weeks. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm. And the person is doing stuff like PDA, over the top PDA. Posting stuff on Facebook, Instagram, my boo.
Change their relationship.
Okay.
The love of my life. You are the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Let me change this to in a relationship. Yeah, I just met her 2 days ago. We in a relationship.
Yeah, change their status.
Just going by everything. Once you Facebook official, I got you. So I got you.
But once you Facebook official, it's official, right?
It's official. Yes. That's what I mean.
It's official.
That's what I mean. And it's funny because you see that a lot where people on Facebook will be in a relationship and it'd be the greatest thing for like 2 weeks, and then
they change their status to
be quiet for a minute. No, they'd be done. It'd be disappear, all deleted. And then weeks later, it'd be somebody else who's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Oh my God, I found he's definitely the one. This one is the one. I'm telling you, it's the one. And then 2 weeks later, same thing. You see the pattern? Okay, actually.
But
could that be a person that's just looking for love?
That's all about that.
And just maybe doing it the wrong way? Just not really having a great way of doing it?
But usually with the love bombing, there's a purpose. And the purpose is to control the person. Eventually to control the person.
That's the key. You come into it with the intent. I'm doing this to get this person under control to get whatever I desire.
Get them to trust me.
Okay.
Get them to trust me.
Think of remember Sparkle? And remember how the guy got into his sister's life and he was showering her with gifts and was real good to her and everything. Next thing you know, he telling her to crawl like a dog.
And he was whooping her ass. Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Because that's all. A lot of times that abuse comes when you stop listening, and eventually, through the bombing, some people get to a place where they want to still be independent. They want to, live their lives and do some other things and hang out with their friends.
They don't get air. They don't get they come up for air.
That's like every movie I saw I seen Aretha Franklin was like that. The dude, the guy with her was like that. Sparkle was like that. Doing with Jamie Foxx and Beyonce, that happened like that. Dang, that's what they were doing to what they wanted and trying to control the situation. And once the control wasn't working, then they used the physical.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it starts with the bombing. It starts with you believing that this person cares so much about you and wants you so badly that you're up here somewhere. And really, they don't really believe that you're up there. They don't really believe that. And they want you to feel that way.
They want you to feel for a long time.
Yep. Yeah.
Promises after promises.
Yes.
How they reel you in.
Yes.
They're calling, they're texting, they're messaging.
Yes, exactly. And you think it's cute. You think it's cute.
Right? Showing up on your lunch break.
With flowers. Lunch. With flowers and lunch.
Yes, with flowers. Yeah. Don't forget flowers and lunch.
2 days in.
He stopped at your mama's house when you wasn't over there.
Hey, how you know where mama live at?
You don't remember telling me that? You told me where your mama lives.
You told me you live with your mama.
Gaslighting. Yeah, you told me. Maybe I did tell you where my mama lives.
So how do these relationships end quickly? I mean, usually when they start past like that, do they end quickly, or does the person doesn't really allow you to go?
I think it depends. I think that in a lot of them, the person isn't allowing them to go. and then it gets to a point where they start having that power struggle and the abuse comes out.
Okay.
But sometimes there's situations where the person just stays in it. They're comfortable. They've learned how to walk on the eggshells and tiptoe around so that they don't get in trouble, and they just stay.
Yeah.
Now, is there any in these relationships? Does whoever is doing the love bombing, once they get the person, is cheating something to do? They step outside the relationship, or they just can stay in that relationship and control it?
Wait a minute, say that again, Daryl. You start breaking up.
As far as does this person now start cheating once they get that person kind of on lock? Is that something that is, or they kind of just stay with that relationship and control it?
Not necessarily. I think you see either way. You see either way where they got the control and the person on lockdown and they can do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm. Or they feed off the power.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about power.
Yes. Yeah, so you're right. They could be so locked in themselves that they don't have time for cheating. Because you monitoring showers and you checking, how long it take to run to the store and back and all that kind of stuff.
You monitor what they eat, how much they eat.
What you mean run to the store? Who runs to the store?
Oh, okay. You can't go to the store. Hey, Del Rico. You're not going to the store.
Del Rico.
We having all our groceries delivered from Amazon.
Right. Absolutely. Like you ain't going nowhere. You gonna stay in this house and cook. Go get them groceries.
Wow, that's interesting. That is interesting.
So here go. I had found something online that talked about it, and it talked about some signs that your relationship is a string of love bombs, and it's manipulative love bombs is what it said. And the first one it talks about is your partner makes you believe you could do better. Now that sounds good on the surface, right?
Yeah.
But it's normal for your partner to want you to do better, but with this, you start getting criticized when you're not. So everything is, I'm helping you. I'm trying to make you better. Kind of is the attitude.
Gotcha.
And also, Doc, because that include, like, I've seen relationships where the guy's like, don't nobody else want you? I'm the only one that really love you.
Yeah.
If you left me today or tomorrow, nobody would want you. Yeah. You ain't the kid. Like, could that be a part of
that's a part of that? Yes, because what happens is when you're not giving them the right kind of attention, then they'll start knocking down the people around you and saying, well, and making you think you deserve better. That's how you get isolated from the people who actually really care about you. Because they want all of your attention. So it's like, well, Susie was talking about you yesterday, and I heard that Joni said that you stink, and start putting all this, talking to you about the people that you care about.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
Wow.
So yeah, in that sense, it looks like they're helping you out because you deserve better. You deserve better friends. You deserve a better job.
Yeah. Deserve better everything, and I'm gonna give it to you.
You know what, girl? You know what? You didn't get that job. You deserve a better one. I'll take care of you till you find a better one. Then you can't get another job. Then you got to stay home. Gotcha. Yeah, and then like so, I told I don't know if I told the story before here, but I did talk about it. I knew a girl who told me the guy when she came home would inspect her for fingerprints.
Yeah,
you did mention that before.
She had to strip naked and hold her arms out, and he would go over her body looking for fingerprints, which I thought was crazy. I'm like, you can see fingerprints on skin, but okay. But she was like, I just wanted to make him, let him know there was no fingerprints on me, so this is what he would do. He would inspect me. But all those things you're saying were like where the showing up to work in the beginning, like she said he seemed like the ideal guy in the beginning. He was just great. Was great. And showing up to work and all these things. And it's weird. And she said before she knew it, he had moved in. And she said, you don't even notice it, but like before I know it, like
little bit by little bit.
Like you didn't go home in 2 weeks. You're here. Why do you have a key?
Right.
And then the same type of stuff, he started, kind of putting her down. You should be doing better. You're a therapist. And then the physical abuse came. And as he tried to leave, he said that's when he really stepped up the abuse on all levels, mutilation, the making her feel bad about herself. And, she was in the hospital, depression, she got to harm herself and all these things. But it's crazy, when I got out of the hospital, I went back to him to start the cycle again. She was afraid to tell her parents, because the parents knew the guy was great. She didn't believe that they would believe her, because he was, he had that good face. But she was finally able to rid of him and restrain order and all that. But that didn't stop him. He was still popping up at her job and things of that nature. It was really crazy. He befriended her. It was like a movie. Now think about it. He befriended some of her friends to now get her
he can show up,
to tell her where she was at. Absolutely.
Yes.
We going to so and so, and he would show up, and she was like, "How do you know where I'm at?" And come to find out, he was friends with her friend who didn't know all the details, who thought they were helping, like, oh, I just want to get her back, thought they were helping, and were really putting her in a situation that was really not good for her.
Unsafe.
But the absolute could do was, it seemed like a psycho, So it was a really crazy situation. She finally got out of it, but she said, no, I'm still dealing with the trauma from going through that. I said, I wow.
I can imagine.
That reminds me of the scene in the Tina Turner movie where her mother took her back to Ike. It's like, what?
Yes, that was crazy. That was different. I was like, what?
But that's I think that's part of it too. They endear themselves to the people around you. And so they're your friends and family are saying, he's such a good man. What are you doing? Or she's such a good woman. Yeah, she's such a good woman. Why are you treating her like that?
So love bombing also includes kind of people around you, right? Because they want everybody to fall in love with you. And that helps you control the situation even better at times, sometimes. Gotcha.
So the second one that the area that they mentioned is they say what you want to hear, even if it means bending the truth.
Like, ooh, this food ain't that bad. This food is good, girl.
Yes.
Ooh, it's good. I'm good.
No, I love the outfit you have on, and the hair matches it perfectly, and those earrings. They just bring.
Who don't wear ankle skirts anymore? They're definitely in. Go ahead, girl, do your thing with your ankle skirt.
The ankle skirt. Oh, reminds me of pleated skirts.
I think they coincide really well, Neil.
They go
the love
together,
bombing
right?
and the
That's what I'm
stalking.
thinking.
I think they go together.
The difference would be the stalking is usually the other person really doesn't know, like you're doing that in secret, right? You're following around. But love bombing, you're doing, and you're in an actual relationship. Well, you're trying to get to know a person, and that person's receiving what you're doing because they feel like, hey, this new person's nice. Oh my God, look what they're doing there. So love bombing is more of a consensual thing, even though you don't know the intent.
That's a good point.
And stalking is, you don't okay stalking, right? You're not.
Right.
If they're stalking you,
okay,
usually you're not a part of that. You're not saying stalk me. I want to see you outside hiding under the car. I go home. That's usually no one signs up for stalking usually. Yeah, no. So that would be the two differences. I think that love bombing could lead to stalking. Right?
Yes.
If the person says no or goes away, I think that love bombing could become,
or I should say, starts off as consensual.
Yeah, starts
off as consensual. Yes,
absolutely.
Starts off that way because you are a willing participant in all of the gift giving and the dates and all that kind of stuff. You are right.
Ooh, girl, he came to my job with flowers and chocolate.
Now, and the one thing about that they mentioned is number 3, you receive expensive gifts and you know how much they cost.
Right.
Oh, I didn't mean to leave this price tag on there. Rip that off, girl. Throw that away. Don't look at that.
He got me a Tiffany bracelet.
Don't look at that. Yeah. Oh, $300. Rip that off. Throw it away, girl. I don't know why I left that on there.
So what they're doing is telling you about their investment in you, so that you feel indebted.
Right. Like, oh, I bought you a $300 bracelet, and you can't pay this light bill. Gotcha.
I gave you a promise ring.
Yes.
Very interesting. and they probably look great too. Go ahead, girl. Wear them bell bottoms. They look good.
Why not?
But yeah, I mean, when you give gifts genuinely, just from your heart, you don't have to tell the person how much it costs or how much trouble you went through to get the gift or any of that. It's just you give it to them.
And I don't think that extravagant gift should be given out within the first 2 weeks you know someone anyway, right? That's weird. And I think it's funny because I'm thinking about it now. I know people be really excited and that really makes someone think that someone cared about them. If I can see that you $300, then you must really like me. That's an investment. Like, you're showing me, like, I can see how it could really, because you give me something for $300. I'm like, oh, you love me. This gonna work.
And you gave me a chain.
Yeah, it's gonna work. She got bread. Also tell me she got money. That's what I'm talking about. Sugar baby, sugar whatever.
Sugar baby.
Okay, let's go. No, but that's what it kind of does. It kind of shows you a lot about the person. Tells you about they must have this money to play with, right? Because hopefully they're not spending their light money. So that means they're probably financially stable.
Right.
They care about you enough to go out and purchase it. They got to go out and look for it. And you think this is something that, this is probably so they took time to do it. The gift took time to do. You can't just go buy a bracelet for $300. So it, to me, was signal this was thinking of me. They were really thinking about me, and they put their money where their mouth is. That definitely is gonna put that relationship in fast forward.
Yes,
it goes a long way.
Definitely,
it's a fast track.
It does.
They have real intentions for me.
That's what it feels like. Even saying it
feels
like
that. Feels like they have real intentions.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh.
Not take me for granted. Even though it's been 2 weeks.
It's a lot of money. If you're doing that, dang, 2 weeks, 6 weeks, what we're gonna get? $600 gift. You know what I mean? So it's gonna double every couple of weeks. So that definitely, I can see how it can make someone start feeling something that's not necessarily true.
Mm-hmm. You know, pay all your bills.
Mm-hmm. And especially when they pepper it with, I stood in line for 2 hours to get you those $500 tickets, and you know, Oh,
girl, I couldn't even sleep. I had to stand in line 3 hours. And and that all builds to the legend of what goes on, and everything makes her more and more wet, and the pain is coming down even more. So,
they say the richer the man is, the wetter the woman is.
There you go. There you go. That makes sense.
but there are some men with money who don't spend it like that.
Because it makes sense. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense to be frivolous with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm thinking. Like, a lot of times people are doing that, if they're really leading with their money, usually that relationship doesn't last long because they don't have anything really to offer. Like, they're trying to buy you, get you in there, and then what substance do you have? Usually when it comes down to substance, it's nothing there because it's built on, and it's funny, one of my friends would do it all the time. And then while people expect these things,
correct,
because you did it so much
Became a
Now it's
habit.
expected. Now before we go out, y'all gonna need that check to go get some clothes to go out tonight. You know, and
Right.
then he would get upset. Like, oh, y'all want me for my money? I'm like, my man, like you set that in motion.
Yes.
Like she's only doing what you set up.
Yeah.
Now I think he viewed this money more as a way to get a woman. Like he didn't have game. I don't think he really felt good about himself, but he had money. So he really was buying these gifts and everything, you know, trying to go over. But what it did was made him more like he got money, he's spending it frivolously. I definitely like what he can give me. It wasn't like him. It became a thing where he made it that way. So they couldn't like him, but everything they did was big. You know, like go buy a new dress. We're going out tonight. Hey, here's some shoes. You know. And so then when the girls would expect it, he would get mad. I'm like, you can't get mad, fool. But
right, you set that up.
Right.
Yeah, it was his game. It wasn't like he was love bombing with the intentions of controlling.
Right.
He was really love bombing with the intention of trying to win a woman's heart. And you can't. All you do is buy their hearts.
Right.
And then
with love bombers, they are intentionally giving gifts as a way of an exchange, to get what they want
in your life. Yeah, control. Control. Oh, okay.
So the fourth thing they talk about is compliments are in no short supply.
Gotcha. Okay, so question: Has love bombing has it taken a hit with social media, because people are getting likes and comments all the time? Women are getting, you can't go any picture you post. Hey, beautiful. Oh, looking good today. So I mean, you really have to step. You really have to step up your love bombing game today, because these women are getting likes every picture.
Yes.
You put a picture of ankle up. Ooh, girl, that ankle. Look at your ankle. Girl, that ankle. You get 300 likes per ankle.
So I'll read what this says about the compliment thing, because this lays it out really well. So it says, compliments are great, but when a narcissist is the one doling them out, they come with a price. They know that if they continually compliment, sooner or later you'll feel obligated to compliment back, even if you don't feel like doing so. Furthermore, the endless complimenting puts you at risk for being conditioned by the compliments themselves. You start to become molded into what they want and what they need.
That's so good.
So they can start complimenting. They compliment you in a certain way to let you know that's the way they want you to dress.
It's like you're building up their confidence.
Oh, you look good like that. Oh, that looks really nice. So in your mind, you start noticing, when I wear this type of stuff, like I'll wear that more. Gotcha.
So, and then you get to a point where you crave that too. So it says craving for adoration provides the love bomber with control that may even lead to you isolating yourself from other people, because that is the one who loves you more than everybody else.
Yes, more than anybody else.
I guess they don't have have social media, and they ain't craving attention. So all you gotta do is thirst trap on any social media, and you get all the compliments you want.
I've seen people make people get off of social media by making it seem like the devil.
Yeah, you have to, because I'm thinking the compliments that women get online are crazy. So like, you can't compete with that. You can't compete with 30, 40 comments a minute or an hour that someone's giving somebody. They're getting that all day long. While you at work and they at work, people still hitting them up, bling, 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 like, ooh, girl, ooh, hey, looking good today. Every picture you put up there, that's how these fools be. I don't get it. Like, every picture up, they look really good there. Look at that smile. Ain't no smile. You're gorgeous. Like, wait.
Yep, that happened.
Yeah, and every picture, what a woman's doing, she can get likes. Somebody gonna find something. Ooh, look at your elbow looking good, girl. Look at the way it bends. Good, look, girl. What?
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean,
it reminds me of one time I was getting on a bus. This is many years ago, and I had on a long ankle skirt, and an elderly gentleman was on the bus and commented on my ankles.
See, that was right in his time.
Yeah,
That was his time. Like, ankle skirts. Look at the ankle. Look at the ankle out.
I mean, you can
girl.
but you get a lot of attention.
You out here showing off all that ankle.
Because people be
Showing all that
wondering.
ankle off.
People be wondering how your legs look or how other stuff looks underneath the skirt. So you get a lot of attention. They like, what she trying to hide? Just saying.
Right. I agree, Ruth. I agree.
Ankles get like some elbows.
I'm just saying. I think it's tough today for love bombers and your social media because it just will take away some of your power because they're going to get that attention all day, every day anyway. Because people are thirsty on social media, and they just, I don't know how they have that much time.
And that was the next thing. That was the next thing it says. In addition to the constant complimenting, a love bomber will shower you with physical and digital affection, touching you in front of your loved ones, posting romantic posts on social media. They're showing everyone concrete proof that you two, that they love you and you are into them.
Good. They know that Facebook official, you show something online, it's official. That means they really like you because they're showing the world, right? You're telling all your friends, whoever's friends, you're telling them, and that's something that people look for. They really look for that. And so I can see how that to me would make somebody go, I love. 2 weeks, you might on Facebook, we Facebook official?
Yeah.
But then what that does is when you try to pull away from the relationship, now you got other things to consider. Because now everybody knows, everyone knows what, and now you kind of you worried about looking stupid, you worried about looking, any kind of negative, word you want to put in there, but it makes you second guess leaving the relationship.
Absolutely. Or you don't want that where you break up and you get back and you break up and you get back and put your picture up, put it down, So eventually you're going to just stop doing that. You're going to stop doing that because it looks crazy. Like people see that and they're like, wow, here they go again. They must be in an off week because they all put the pictures down.
Yeah. But it becomes another character, I feel like, a caricature of this, whatever this relationship is that you have going on with this person. But yeah, I definitely get that.
Yeah. So a love bomber would definitely want to. A love bomber would definitely want to showcase to the world that we got something going on.
Oh, and that would also kind of sometimes should limit some of the other people, like your pictures.
Yes.
Because now, she's me, bro. You better watch your likes. I got you. Okay. So I now see how it works. They jump on social media real quick, and that's really letting everybody else know that she with me. Okay. Okay.
So no more heart emojis, no more likes and loves. Keep them to yourself.
But you're right. And I didn't think about it. It also shows that obviously you can't really be out there either, but out there you're with somebody too, because it kind of takes you off the mark as well, which shows the person you're with, like, they can't really be, for the most part, messing with anybody if they're putting it out there like that. Wow, person, they're good. They're playing chess. They're playing chess right now. God dang.
What'd you say, Darryl? What was the end of that?
They're just playing chess. They're really moving in this to win. And they're all avenues where they're the only one. They're it. Yeah. And it definitely make you feel like, just think about that. You get basically $300, flowers at your job, Facebook official. Jeez. Chocolate. People wait all their whole life to get something like that. They wait their whole life.
Yes.
And you got this in 3 weeks. Oh, girl, he's the one. He is the one.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And so now you're getting it from all sides. He done been to your mama house and had to sit down with your mom and you didn't even know. Yeah. Now mama like him. Your girlfriend.
And he done met her from around the way.
Ain't no man ever come here and talk to my mama. he came and talked to my mom
Right.
and asked her, could we date? That just, girl.
That
he
took it
just-
to the next
listen,
level, girl. Took it to the next level. You asking, can you date me? That never
Mama
happened.
like nobody. Mama don't like nobody.
Yes.
You know?
That
So yes,
happened.
you are definitely building. You're building yourself into a hole that is very difficult to get out. Because girlfriends like them. The guys are like, you know. For me, I'm like, well, he's putting you out on Front Street. Then that's good. That means he ain't running around for the most part because everybody knows his business. I seem like a dude. So everybody's like this room. And when the other shoe drops and you find out what's really going on and you try to get out, it's very difficult.
It
He
is.
already been painted
Yes.
this picture.
That's
The
when-
world was a little different.
Yes, for sure. So here's week 3 when when the gaslighting stuff kind of starts, where you're being accused of doing things you're not doing.
Okay.
Making you think you
Cheating.
making you think you died. The cheating is the big one. I saw that guy put his heart emoji on your picture.
Yep.
Yeah.
But all
Yeah.
along, he got a second page. He got a secret page.
Well, he might not. He might not have a second page, but it's just more
May
of the
not.
control because now
Right.
he's making you second. Now you know what? I remember it happened a couple times where somebody's in my camp and I'm like, oh, all right, good job, good progress, and something like that, and the guy would like, well, what's going on with you and your trainer? And that would make them not want to come back, not because we were doing anything, but they're like, I don't want him getting upset.
Yes.
I don't even want to
Getting
deal
mad
with it.
at what's
You know
going
what I mean?
on.
I said, I don't want to deal with it. It's nothing going on, but he just thinks it is, and I'd rather not. I get it, but I don't. I'm like, because they're tripping over nothing, right?
Right,
That's
right.
the way him getting that person to stop doing something like and have more control. That's what every time I see something like that, it's usually a person that just usually trying to control all that person's time.
Yes.
And to take anything
Yes.
to do outside of them, they're taking it away.
Yes.
Yes. That's crazy. That is crazy.
But I like this in this section. It says, since they haven't developed a strong sense of self, any uncomfortable emotions like fear or not being liked or loved can feel intolerable, making this discomfort your fault and making it your responsibility to fix. So when they're love bombing you, they're making you feel guilty or confused about things that's going on with them internally. That's another way of controlling you, because now you don't know which way to turn. Now all your time and energy is spent on trying to make them feel good and loved, and like you're not doing anything with anybody else.
And you want to make sure they're not upset. You're concerned about how they're second, and you don't want to get them mixed any other way with their attitude or they're just
right. You cut off your training sessions because he said that Daryl was looking at you crazy.
You stop hanging out with your family. He said you spend too much time. You're too close to them and not to him. All of that.
I never forget, because the guy one time we were training in person with group class, the husband would always come in, and I was giving some directions like, okay, no, your hip gotta go higher, hips up, push him back. And then she said after class, like, oh, what kind of class you run? He talking about your hips and push them back. What kind of class he running?
And you said it was a group class?
A group. It wasn't even like one-on-one. It wasn't like I was touching her or anything. It was a group class. Right? I'm like, wait, what? And the fun part to me, like, the woman really didn't look like anything to me, right? A little round jaw, like she wasn't even on the radar. So, but to him, she probably was everything, right? Because that was like, there's other people in the class that I didn't even get a chance. But okay, that's what he said. I don't know. I'm just teaching class, so I think that's more about this. So if you gotta stop coming, it's okay. But I'm not gonna have him come to class and he's sitting there looking crazy anyway. It was uncomfortable. It definitely was uncomfortable with him in the room because the way he was looking, you could tell there's something on his mind. Like, I just thought he just didn't want to be there. Like, he was upset for being there. I didn't know. It was definitely something, but I thought he was like, I don't like waiting for her to do this. But it was more like he was thinking that putting up with it and it had something to do with her. Like, I was secretly telling her a secret message in front of everybody but to her.
Right. That's weird.
I don't got time. I don't got time of it. Like, what are you talking about?
And you know, in those situations, it's really about the person's insecurity, but they're putting it on the other person.
They're putting it
and
on
making it their responsibility. Yes.
Responsibility for their actions and their feelings, and that's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not responsible for your insecurity. You need to take care of that.
Or your happiness.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's crazy. You know what? And I think in that case, what was happening, she was a little big girl. She was out, getting in shape. And I really think when I thought about it later, I'm like, he probably was upset that she was getting in shape.
And he wasn't.
And feeling good about herself.
Yeah.
And started feeling, a lot of times you get in shape, you start feeling better about yourself. And I think that was the problem. Well, in his mind, maybe she would get in shape and leave him or something, but that was insecure. And I don't know where her mind was, but I figured that's what it was. Because your girl's a little around you and trying to get in shape, you should be promoting that. I would love if my girl got fat and she started getting in shape. Well, if my girl got fat, I would kick her out. But I'm just saying.
Daryl.
She'd have to go. But I would think that would be something you celebrate. Like, okay, come on, girl, keep doing it. But he made it a negative thing, and that was bugged out to me. And that probably was that type of thing where, the love bombing now it turned into the I'm trying to control him.
Yeah, because he's probably insecure and jealous.
Yep.
Gotta be. And I'm like, listen, I said, you can come and work out. Like, if you're here, you could join. You don't have to sit and watch. Why don't you join? That'd be dope. You know what I mean? And I even thought about, maybe I'll do a couples or a tandem class where people can work out together because you guys are here. I found some other things him being there, but I'm good. I'm a fan.
I'm just going to sit here and look crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to sit here and look like I got the bubble guts, like my stomach hurt.
He wanted to make sure you wasn't
right. I'm just gonna come and mean mug you the whole entire class.
Yep.
You understand? And I'm like, and that does make it uncomfortable because if there is some correction that needs to be done, if they're doing something wrong, I won't go over and do anything. It just feels uncomfortable.
Of course.
Right. I just feel
because now he want to fight because you done touched the butt.
Yeah, exactly. In his mind, we didn't have full. Remember? I didn't got next to her. In his mind, we had sex. So now I'm fighting because in his mind, I'm crazy. So at that point, it just makes it uncomfortable. And that's why I invited him. Like, listen, why don't you come and do the class? You're here. Mm-hmm. You feel me? That'd be cool. I said, what? I won't even charge you. She's going. Y'all both know her. Not even asking you anything. Nah, Sam, I'm good. All right. You good.
Are you really good?
Right. Yeah. And I'm not gonna be fighting over a little fat joint that I don't want either. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that.
You go.
Like, I'm not fighting over your imagination. I'm not doing it. I'm not.
So the next thing it talks about, you're expected to supply the affection they want. Ugh. So yeah. So that's your job. And when you are normal? Not,
Ain't that normal? I need you to.
I mean, yes. You and your partner want affection from each other, but if I can't answer your text or I can't call you right back because I'm at work, the love bomber gets extremely upset. Oh. The love bomber will be up here with it, whereas a normal person would be like, all right, well, she's at work. If I'm calling her, she probably can't answer the phone.
But they talk about
her, maybe she's busy.
I texted you 2 minutes ago and you just responded. Who's you fucking?
Yes. Right. Yes. That's the love bomber.
They're doing something, huh?
That's the love bomber.
Gotcha. Oh, you just put it on to answer the text. That's what happened.
But I was in traffic, babe.
But that's the love bomber, and they may even threaten to end the relationship, or threaten to out you for seeing somebody else, even though you probably aren't. But I'm gonna tell your mom that I found out you messing with the guy at your job. Like, wait a minute, I just didn't answer the text in 5 minutes.
Or send the videos out to your people that you know that y'all made together?
Whoa, wait a minute. What are we doing that for? That's putting us both out there. Whoa.
I mean, but not talk about the threat. Not that it's gonna be done, but the threat of it being
The
done.
threat.
That'll make you change your mind
But
about
listen,
something.
is that really a threat if you're gonna put our video out there? Now, if you got a video by herself, that's a threat. I'm gonna put that video you made me out there. That video you made me, put it out there. So yes, you are.
But there's definitely the threats of doing stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're still not responsive, then you get the threats of harm. Either you, your family, themselves. Sometimes they might, them people be talking about, I'm going to kill myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the love bomber takes it to the extreme, even though it's only been 3 weeks.
Right. They done moved in by then.
You're gonna kill yourself over me. You don't even know my middle name.
Listen, I'm a little different. You tell me you're gonna kill yourself because of something for me, I'm like, do it. Go ahead.
They done moved in and redecorated your house.
I'm just letting you know. I'm gonna kill myself and come over. Hey, if you're around tomorrow, then we'll talk. I'm not coming.
I remember you saying that before.
Yeah, he did.
If you're around tomorrow, we'll deal with it.
Yeah, he did say that before.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't feed into it. And if you're going to do it, ain't nothing that you can do, but I'm not going to be a game. So that's not going to work on me.
But if you've been bombed and now you feel responsible,
I'm still not going to. No. That one already got preset in my mind that as soon as someone says that, it goes to, okay, well, good luck.
I had somebody tell me that a couple of times. And I went the first 2 times. I went to the house the first 2 times. The third time I was like, look, if you're going to do it, stop calling me. I'm not coming over. Yeah. I'm not, because now the first 2 times, the first time I got there was a knife on the table. Second time, there was no weapons or anything, but you get to the point where you know that the person just wants you to be there. They just want your attention.
They want your attention, yes.
And the third time I was like, I'm not making that walk. I'm not coming over there. So what you gonna do?
I'm good.
What you gonna do?
And then and what can I do really? Like, I'm not gonna be messing with you, try to take it away from you either, or taking out the chair. You feel me? Like, if you're gonna be here tomorrow, we'll talk.
And you know what? In a love bombing situation, that's not really a bad idea, because usually if it's coming from a place of narcissism, they're not gonna hurt themselves. It's just a tactic.
Got you. You're trying to.
It's just another way of controlling it.
It's funny. So I remember I had a lady she broke up with the. Now I think it's funny. I think she was doing the love bombing, where she was showering with gifts, and they got together, roped them in, and the relationship moved very fast. Like within, I think like 3 weeks they were living together.
Oh wow!
Even got pregnant really quickly. So the relationship was a problem the whole time, because once we get into it, she was a totally different person. She was always putting him down, kind of said, putting him down, like, you better than you're doing, you ain't dead, all these things. When he finally got out, and the only reason he got out, they got help. And in the beginning, it was painted like it was his fault.
Of course.
But during therapy, the therapist started seeing, like, wait a minute, because even in the beginning, she said she was kind of like, it's him. As they started talking and coming out, I realized it wasn't him, it was her. And they were able to get him out of the situation. And then the woman proceeded to now try to get him back, calling them and all these things. And then she started doing things like, hey, look, the kid fell down the steps and going to the hospital, meet me at the hospital. And he was like, I'm not gonna go. It just didn't feel right. And 2 hours later, she called him back like, I'm making dinner. You want to come over?
She wanted him to
He's
show
like,
up.
It's crazy. She's crazy. But the bad part about it, I think he ended up going back. I think she warned that and he went back. You know, I haven't talked to him in a while, but a couple times.
That's why. That's why.
Yeah, it might be.
Went back to the situation.
And each time we went back, it got worse. Because it's good in that beginning, but then it comes to, you know, doing the same fact we talked about trying to manipulate him to do certain things or certain things the way she wanted it done. Like it was the right way except for her way. And he was really miserable. But then the kid, you know, so the kid needs mom. So I get how it was because of the stuff they added to it, but definitely was a situation where he was love bombed, and you know, something they made it even tougher to, you know, pull away from.
Yeah, and I think people are so fascinated because it just seems most of the time the person has never been showered like that.
Not with that much affection, no.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. People are looking for love, period, right? Yeah. Everybody's looking for it. You want that. You want that Disney type of love. You want that, you know, that guy come up on a horse and come on, get on this horse. Eat these chocolates. I'm on the horse. Let me grab these flowers from out the tree. Here, take these flowers. I'm the horse. Now you have this picnic, like you want that so much that when someone shows you something like that, to show you that fairy tale, you
take hold on to it.
Oh, yes. You are locked. You are all the way
locked and loaded
over a dream, over a fantasy. That has nothing behind it but a whole bunch of these flashy, shiny, flashy things. And then when it comes to relationship, you find out it isn't what you thought. You know, there's no way. This is really hell that you're going to go through. And that's the problem. People need to understand what love is, you know, first before you get in. And that's how you get swept up in something like this.
Yes,
you get swept in something, not knowing love or not knowing. Listen, I know
not knowing what healthy looks like.
Right.
Not knowing what healthy love
looks like.
You should understand that someone giving you a $300 bracelet 2-3 weeks in is weird. Him buying you that new Chanel purse in 2 or 3 weeks is weird, unless he works at Chanel. Even then, it might be weird.
Right.
Okay.
Right, because he only getting a discount. It's not like he got it for free. Right.
Or he's stealing them. Or he's stealing them, and now you got stolen goods. So, you know.
Walking around stolen goods.
I have a friend who was bombed. I'm convinced. I mean, it was many years ago. I'm very convinced that that's what it was. Because at one point she called me. She was locked in the house.
What?
Like locked in with bars on the windows and everything. Could not leave. Could not leave. Was not allowed to leave the house. But in the beginning, this was the best guy she had ever met. He was so affectionate. He was attentive. He spent money. He was so nice. But when she went and stayed that weekend, she never left.
Hey, you ain't even going nowhere. You're gonna be here forever.
Basically, that's basically what happened.
And sometimes it's simple as, girl, he paid for dinner. Sometimes it don't take much.
Yeah, sometimes our expectations are so low.
That's not love bomb, and that's like love firecracker, and that's little.
I mean, but sometimes all it takes.
Listen, if he got you like that for dinner, then your standards are really low. You have no self-esteem. Like, wow.
You'd be surprised.
I won't be. Anybody gets swept up over somebody getting paid for dinner, and there's 7 or 8, and this is the first dinner ever went on, then it's a problem. It's really a problem. Nobody's getting set up over someone paying for dinner. Well, you know, okay, I get it. Depending where you go, if you took them to a certain restaurant, I guess where. No, that's not expensive.
I know, I'm just saying.
Real expensive. Okay. Here we go. If I'm getting you over steakhouse, then I don't want no steakhouse pussy. Okay, that's a little pussy, right?
I'm just saying.
No, I'm not saying it gotta be something better than that, Kate.
All right, so we got the love bomb, the love firecracker. Maybe Morton Steakhouse, is that like a love hammerhead? Is that like a hammerhead?
Look. Or maybe updated. What's that restaurant? The 48, whatever. The restaurant where it's like 100. What was it? What's the name of that place?
The place that had the $100 hamburger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. They had the $100 hamburger.
Yeah, see, I don't know. If you sprung over that nah. I mean, I don't think that's something. Yeah, that's not. Now, if it was like, you know, so when I used to have, I used to be able to fly free.
Okay.
So I kind of worked for airport. I never really worked for the airport, but I kind of worked for them, but I didn't. But I had to fly for free until they found out I didn't work there, and they cut it off.
You know what?
So I was, listen.
Daryl is the reason we have the new airport security.
Okay.
Listen, I was flying all over the world.
Okay.
For about 6-7 months. I'd call up, boom, on your flight. I had free flight.
You know
they
what?
thought I worked for them. I didn't. I had my code and everything. So, but so I mean, I know one with my cousin did it as well. Now I don't know if it was love bombing or trying to impress, but he paid for dinner. But what he did was he got a flight from Philadelphia to Boston to go get crabs or something, big crabs.
Oh, wow.
Boston.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah,
so that's what he did. So he flew. They got on a plane. They flew out to eat, and they flew back.
Okay.
So there you go. 9% paying for dinner. Okay, I can see that being love bombing. You know what I mean? But I don't want to steakhouse pussy. I'm not even bombing. If I'm taking you to steakhouse, if I'm taking you to steakhouse, I ain't trying to love bomb you. I'm gonna let you know. I'm trying to some balls in you maybe, but that's it.
But that's it. Nothing else.
But that's it.
Trying to ball you.
Just ball.
Yeah, I'm trying to get balls deep for steakhouse. Steakhouse is balls deep. That's it.
So that's the juggler, just balling. Okay. If you put it that way, why not?
Yeah, I got some.
So the last point that they talk about is walking on eggshells at all times. So with the love bomber, you have no personal boundaries, and if you try to have some, there's going to be conflict
and consequences. Yeah.
And consequences, right?
Seriously.
So you're always treading lightly because you don't know what's going to happen.
You don't want to say the wrong thing.
Gotcha.
Make them tick.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey, anime, please eat the cake.
Yeah, because a lot of times, and that's something we know about people who have narcissistic personality. They're volatile anyway because they're very fragile. Even though they appear to be really strong,
but
they're very fragile. Their egos are fragile, and you got to be careful.
Gotcha. Yep. So anything that looks out of, or they feel that makes them look bad or look funny, they're gonna take it out on you. Gotcha. Like what's going on in that the ankle shirt?
You embarrassing
showing
me?
Your ankles off to everybody.
You embarrassing me?
You embarrassing me? Yes,
you embarrassing me in front of my friends, in front of my family.
We ain't got no lotion in our house. Look at them ankles.
They ashy.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Firecracker.
Yes. Oh, IHOP, huh? That's it.
Look, whatever it takes.
Yeah, you got firecracker. That's funny. Firecracker love. Hey, whatever works.
But I think that it's noticeable because it happens so fast. Even though a lot of
Yes,
people, like we've
yes.
already said, it's happening fast, and the person is so convinced that it's a good thing because it looks so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you
we
can't
But
tell them
know each
anything
other.
different. You can't tell them anything different.
mhm. But you
Now,
can't get
and
to
I
know
think,
anybody in 3 weeks. You gotta. That has to be
no.
somewhere in the back of your mind. You
Well,
can't get. You don't. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I don't think you think that because it's like everything else is working so well, you feel so good, everything's going to fall in place. That's how you feel. It's going to fall in place. Like I don't want to be an naysayer. I don't want to doubt this. Stop doubting, girl. It's going to work. And
It's working out.
the reality of the situation is, I don't know this person. I don't know anything about him because the whole relationship has been us going to eat, gifts, having fun, laughing. We don't know anything really about each other, how we handle difficult situations, what bills look like, what we want from each other. We don't know any of that because we're driving on this high. Oh, 15, 16,
He did
IHOP was
good.
like,
Yeah, right.
I
Yes,
mean,
he
yeah,
did good.
he spent all his little money on you, all his little change.
Right.
IHOP was expensive at 15, 16. Yeah, IHOP was like the highest paying restaurant.
Yes, he did
Listen,
good.
yeah.
That was his whole allowance.
Right.
Yeah. He was bombing. He was bombing. He was love bombing. That's what he was doing. He was trying.
But yeah,
But
you don't know the person. You're right.
No.
You don't know them.
But I guess so, and this is what I was and we talked about it a little bit too, in a sense where sometimes you just will. We have some people who continue. It's like they have one long relationship, right? Because I don't necessarily think they're love bombing, but they're just used to doing what they're doing at that level. So that new person, they're just really continuing the last relationship they were in with the new one. And because I know a lot of times, even now, thinking about dating, I'm like, the anything with dating right now would be the beginning part. I don't want that beginning part. I don't want that, getting to know you. What's your favorite color? You like French fries, girl.
You like ketchup?
You like you like bowling. Like that beginning part is like so just like you don't want to do that because if that don't work, you gotta do it again 5 minutes later. Like what I mean, or you're doing it with 5 different people at the same time, answering the same questions. Yeah, and you getting the questions mixed up. Like who likes spaghetti? One of y'all likes spaghetti. So that beginning part is tough, right? So you do want to jump into what you feel like where the relationship has some legs and it's got a little flow.
You jump
feet
sometimes.
Sometimes I feel like sometimes people just go relationship to relationship and they're not resetting because it's too difficult to reset. I don't want to start over. Like mentally, you don't want to start over. I want to be like in the middle of the relationship where we kind of know each other. We act like we do. And this is why that new relationship is not going to work either, because it's the same thing. You don't know this person. You're just jumping in, doing the same thing you were doing with the last person, because this person, you didn't really ask what they like, and you're not learning what they like. And that person may be just going on with it because it feels good in the beginning, that honeymoon period. And you have a long relationship with 9 different people.
Right.
But you recreate, you're recreating the same thing. They're just shells. Yeah.
Yeah,
a Rolodex of the same person.
And I think and a little of that might be the reason why the bombee is so entranced, because it's like I know him forever.
Yep. He successful
because he started like you were together for 2 years.
Well, I think about that sometimes. I know I've been in relationships where I've been with someone. When we first get together and we spend so much time together, it's like, God, I feel like I know you forever. Girl, I know it's been days. It don't like been a year. God, girl, I know you are every girl, you're the one. And by the end of the week, you don't know her anymore.
Yeah,
you don't know anymore by the end of the week. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it's crazy.
I thought I knew you.
I did.
Really?
A couple of days.
I didn't know you were the type of person to drink all the apple juice. I don't know you.
And I put the top back on. We can't have it.
Who uses peanut butter and the cross all day? You done messed up the chunky peanut butter. I didn't use the type of person. this ain't gonna work.
But that's
This ain't
important.
gonna work. But and that's what makes it easy for a love bomber to kind of get in there, because, like I said, we're all looking for love and we want that perfection. And you meet someone and it seems so great in the beginning, and if they're doing things that are really outside the norm that people do within that first couple of weeks, like I said, you're buying bracelets and showing up to work with flowers, and you get up on the horse, like, come on, get on this horse. Eat the chocolate. Eat the chocolate. Grab these flowers on the tree. Get some flowers. You know, if you're doing, but I see how anyone would fall for that, especially not, you know, because you're obviously into the person, you think they're attractive, and you want it to work. Like, you don't really use a date not to work. You want it to work, and if you're doing all the things that, especially for a man, if I'm doing all that thing for a woman, the woman's like, he's doing everything on the checklist. And it's only day three. This is great. Yes. So it seems like, you know, we set ourselves up to get in situations by, you know, these expectations of what we think that people should do, and all we should do is really get to know each other. Talk about our likes and dislikes. You know, that is distraction. It's a distraction.
Yes.
Let me let you know, bracelets and stuff are distractions in the beginning.
If he shows up to your mom's house and you never gave him the address, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a problem.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a problem always unless you guys had the conversation about going to your mom's house. That's just weird. You know, that's all things you should talk about, right? Because you don't know the relationship. So that's what I'm saying. People, what we really need to do to not have the situation happen is really sit down and talk to each other.
Yeah.
You know, and really learn each other, and not try to hide our inadequacies through doing things, outings and bracelets, things of that nature.
Yeah, and not being so, I keep saying entranced, but being entranced by those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. That you get caught up in a bombing situation. You know, not letting those things be the draw. You know, all the distractions.
And it's so weird. I mean, from being young, as for a guy, you know, we're supposed to, you know, pay for that because you're going to get some. Like, it's always a give and take. Like, we know if we're doing this, we're doing this for this reason, right? We know that getting girls things or having a car, these things are all trying to put us in position to get it. So it kind of sets us up in that way of thinking, this is how we do it. And I understand how a love bomber who definitely is thinking it's a little altered, they're going to put that on steroids. Think, well, I pay for dinner, I can get this, but if I give them a bracelet, or if I take them on a helicopter ride, you know, don't go over and above because they know the bigger the gift is, the payout is.
Yes.
Word.
Exactly.
So,
and I haven't seen anything that. Go ahead.
I'm saying, my last question: can you be broke and love bomb?
It depends on what kind of people you're dating. I'm sure you can. Yes, I'm sure you can.
I got you.
Like the attention and then doing picnics, like setting things up. I just think, the caliber of people you date.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because the gifts can look expensive depending on where you come from.
Right.
If you broke, I can't buy it. I just grabbed these flowers as I was coming over here, girl. Think about you.
But if you pick the flowers and you
wrap them nicely,
right? You wrap them nice, or you had to pick them. I had to pick these flowers. I had to find the wrapping paper. I had to run from the man whose garden they was in. You had to go through a lot. The story around the flowers matters more than the flowers.
Correct.
Got you. So you got to make sure you can be a little bit above the expectations of the person you're with. I mean, if it's like, you know, if it comes from money, then $300 bracelet might not be anything, right? So that's not really, you may think you're bombing, but you're bombing another neighborhood because that's not the one. It's not going to work.
But if you dropped by the house and took little Ray to school all week, that does wonders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're talking about a bad mother if you're letting somebody take your kids to school.
Oh, come on, Daryl. I know you've seen it. I know you've seen it.
they come by and swoop the kid up and take them to school.
Excuse me, if I see it, it's because they're a bad parent.
But it does happen. Like, who is this?
I'm coming to correct the problem.
Like, who is this? Oh, this is my mama new friend.
So, you knew her for how long? 2 days?
Right.
And I'm to school? Okay. All right. Hey, Ray, go pack a bag and come with me.
I mean, but that, it costs money.
Yeah, that's definitely
something like
how
that.
it works.
Can work.
Yes. And if you're in a place where you're like, I've known this man, it feels like I've known him my whole life. Right. He's the greatest thing. Yeah, you gonna let him take little Ray to school? And he just came, he just dropped by. I thought I'd take a little of the responsibility off of you. And I'll pick him up too.
Okay, ladies, if anyone is offering to kids who work, let me about and take kids to school and you only know them for like 2 weeks, just say no.
Please.
That's weird.
Please say no.
Yes.
Just know I'm the kind of guy that I take you to school. I'll help you out. I'm not doing it. No, we're not doing low budget love bombing, big bomb. I think Ruth too. Yeah, I think that love bombing, it would have to be big.
Big ticket, yeah.
Because they would have, or it'd have to be outside the norm of what they're used to getting. It just would have to be. It looked different than what they usually get. So, that's what I'm saying. Tough sometimes because you get some of these. Say if you meet, say the girls on, putting a lot of thirst pictures on social media, and people are sending her, cash app money and things of that nature. Then you really have to step your game up because she's like, hey man, I'm getting that for free.
Already.
That little $300 ain't about. That's $300.
Yeah, but like we said before. If the person has cut off all of that by putting it out there that you belong to them.
Oh, well, yeah, you cut it off, but that money's still coming in. See, like, that's a little bit of cash. This $300 operation ain't about nothing.
I got a little cash in my pocket.
My cash app is getting more than that. So you definitely.
To be honest, I think that's good. If you being love bombed, then you still keeping something on the side. That might help you get out more easily.
Well, listen, I think that. So listen. If you're love bombing and you get into that situation where they go from love bombing to becoming a pimp. Just make her better at getting that money, right? And take your 20% off top.
Well, you know what? I think that some people love bomb the wrong people, and they might get played. They might get
absolutely.
played.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes.
But I also think that a lot of times these people have like kind of like a sixth sense. Because you know how abusive people are able to pick. Yeah. They pick the people that they get. Right. Yeah.
And it's so crazy that these people usually find the people they need to find to take advantage of. It's so crazy how, like you said, Doc, it's a sixth sense they have that they can just sniff out daddy issues.
Yes.
She's the one.
Yes.
Low self-esteem. She's the one. They pick the right one. Mm-hmm. It's so crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And it's hard to tell if the other person exudes that. Like, is that why they pick it up? Or it's hard to kind of tell, like, how those matches come to be. But they happen all the time.
Have a sixth sense.
Her pheromones smell like low self-esteem. Low self-esteem pheromones.
I think they can just sense it.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And it has to be from the first moment they meet the person.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Because you can't make that mistake too many times to try to love somebody that love bombs someone that's not with it. How many $300 or $400 or extravagant gifts can you give out unless you know independently wealthy, unless you're Kristen Gray? How many gifts can you give out like this, right?
Right.
So you definitely have to find someone that you know is going to work with. You know, because you'd be the one who went bankrupt. You met all the wrong girls. You doing this way. You know what I mean?
Or you love somebody, or try to love somebody. I can't even get it out. Try to love bomb somebody that got you all messed up.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's got to be something, and it's weird. They need to see that, find out how do people just have that sense to pick out that right person that's kind of it's going to work with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, work with to the desired outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think that, like I said, a lot of people do look for love, and when you do things like that, it definitely makes everything better. And especially when you do things in the public, like so if you bring someone flowers, you bring a woman flowers in public, not that you bring flowers, but it's her friends like, damn girl, he came up here to bring you flowers. It's the things around her that really, so I don't bring flowers for you, I bring flowers for your friends to see in your ear, and they'll be my biggest advocate after I leave. Like, damn, when I leave him, he done bought you flowers. Now you coming home all wet and juicy because you like, they was talking all day about these flowers. I get it.
They record it and put it on Facebook.
Right. Yes.
It's for you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you going to dinner with your girls. He give you a wad of money.
Right.
Hmm?
Oh, have fun.
Have fun.
Yes, I ain't never loved bombing. You going to dinner with your girls. Hey, have a good night. That's all I can give. I can give you directions. That's all I can give you.
No why to
you make it right down on Broad.
But yeah, I mean, that's something they do as well. You know, show off in front of your people.
Yeah.
I'm taking care of her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, so our friends see, he gave it to me to take care of us. That's a win. You done won just now. You got the friends on your friends down, making her feel good, and she's really thinking that you're really into her, and you're just investing in your motivation.
Yes.
That's crazy.
I mean, one thing I would want to know and to find out from somebody who's in this situation is, we know that control is the ultimate goal, but why? What are you getting out of it? What is, what is the end goal? Besides control, what are you getting from this person?
But you said now the person is using narcissistic, do they feel better at having someone that they're kind of subjugating, that's kind of, I guess, are they getting something from that person that they're putting down or whatever? Are they getting something from that?
Probably so, because now you're right. The person is in a position where they have to feed your ego.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have a steady stream of ego boosting.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You got your drug in the house now. I come home and get my fix.
Yes.
I know this person's going to jump to the beat of my drum.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't, then I'm going to do whatever I do to get them in line.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's the point, to have someone that's kind of it's really for you. It seems like it's self-soothing. Like, I'm setting this person up to make me feel better down the road by controlling it and them, feeding my ego and, doing what I want, I guess.
That makes sense, though. You have it in-house. You have the constant in-house. That makes sense. Yeah.
But and I guess that's why I was asking a question about cheating. I'm wondering, does that get old after a while? Because the fight may not be there anymore. Sometimes you can knock the fight out of someone. They're not really fighting back. Like I said, they're walking on eggshells. They're doing just about everything right. Like, you really have to stretch to make something they did wrong. Like, I can't believe you cut the foot off that fast. Like, you just making a dumb shit at that point. So do you go out and try to start that process again? with someone else, or I wonder, like I said, what is the end game with something like that?
Right.
What is the end game? That would seem like we can only keep them sustained for so long. Because I guess the process is really the thing, getting them there, doing this. And once you got them there, then what? I would like to see maybe study or find out what happens.
Me too. What happens
when they get them?
Yeah. I would like to know as well. What happens when you've been in this situation for 10 years?
Absolutely, yeah. You don't. Everything has changed so much, but it seems like they have started to. This is the way of life. The woman knows or the man knows how to do whatever they need to do. Then what? I would think they would somehow get bored at that point. If there's nothing to control anymore, there's nothing to manipulate anymore to get what you want, you now need to get another fix. Start the whole situation over again.
That's when you bring home a sister wife.
You bring home another bill. We ain't doing that. Hey, I'm good. You didn't bring this up, but you ain't gonna be here no more. That's what's gonna happen.
But she's already trained. She's already trained.
She may be trained, but she may be ready to get out of there. Like, she's trained, but I've been wanting to leave, and you give me my out. Like, someone else can have this headache. You know what I mean?
So, Joya, we was talking about. So what happens? What's the end game after you've had this situation for so long? Is this something you would continue, or would you need a new fix?
I don't know. I heard everything y'all were saying, and especially with the sister wife. I mean, it's just ego building. You want to spread your control to more than one woman, but I've also seen where it's more like once you've kind of, I know you mentioned earlier about the gaslighting. So once you've done it with the other person, your partner, and then you go to her family, the cousins, the family friends, it's like you start doing this about the whole family. So you have more than one. I feel like you have more than one person that's on your side at that point. They could also be giving you this attention. Could also be it spreads. So even if even if your partner, the person you with, leaves you, sometimes the rest of the family is still in your corner. They still see you. They still talk to you. They still invite you to family functions. They're still rooting for her or him or her to get back with you. Like, so it just, I think at that point, if it keeps going, it extends outside of the person you're with.
So they inviting that person to the family functions, not inviting you anymore.
Or even if they invite you and you have a new mate, they still inviting them.
They disrespect your new mate.
It's disrespectful.
See, I don't know about that. See, it's about control at the end of the day. So just because people are singing your accolades doesn't mean you're still getting what you want, because you want to control someone. So, by having the family on your side, it's not really control. They may be in a position to pat you on the back or those type of things, but the control piece is missing. So I think this whole thing, my understanding, the person is going into the mindset of that I want to control someone. That's my end game, to control someone. So I don't think it's necessarily like I said, the pat on the back, things of that nature. I think they want to really control somebody. They want to tell you when you can go, when you can't go, when you do. They want that. So I think the family, once that person leaves, I don't think they would even be interested in the family anymore. Because they were only using the family to keep that person, right? They were trying to keep that person. So you had to look good to the family, so the family supported you in that person. So when you come to your mom, like, oh, Mom, he's girl, ain't that bad. And other men, a lot worse. You need to go back home. That's why you do it.
You need to go back home.
You need the influence of the family. But also with
once you leave, then you don't need the influence. Unless, and maybe the beginning, you're like trying to get to come back Mom,
Right,
you know,
you
why
trying to
she
get them to come
leave?
back. That
You know,
was,
Mom, you know what I'm saying? Let her come back. No, you know, I don't know. She be
I'ma do
tripping
right.
sometimes. You know, my daughter crazy. I'm gonna get her to come back. But after that, I think you're gonna be coming to family picnics after that because you need work. They're gonna be working on whoever they're controlling next in that new family. They're gonna move situations.
Also,
You
I
know,
think
because
about
they're
where.
not.
Go ahead. Oh, also I think about where the person's like, if I can't have you, nobody else can. In terms of like just like the control thing when you mention it to that extent. Like some people just they may want to control several people, but some people just may want to control that one person. Like for life.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that even if I'm trying to control, so even you go to the family house, right? And if they have somebody else, if you're really like a true at that point, nobody else can have you. Then you got to turn up at that house because she's somebody else, right? Or you turn up when she leaves, right? So at that point, it doesn't work anymore. I mean, it doesn't. You don't. No one stalks you in public, right? Stalk you behind the back. We're not gonna let you know you're still coming to the family picnics when she got somebody else. Cause that looks weird, right? That you're showing her there you have problems. Why are you coming when she has somebody else? The family function, like we're not that. Unless you're together for like 15 years, you got kids or something like that, maybe.
Yeah,
But if this is that what we're talking about, fast, you know,
the
you
fast
got type of shit.
it's
This is a year in.
victim.
It's a year in, but it feels like 10 years in, and you broke up. No,
That's
I don't
different.
really see that person going to functions or trying to keep with family outside of the very beginning when that person first leaves. You know, if they have the
back.
family's ear, they'll try to use the family to get them back, to talk them into coming back. But outside of that, no. So I think that the person would just move on to their victim.
Ex-victim.
Well, yeah, I did like this was the fight. That could work.
Next victim. And the funny thing is, we talking about the endings, 10, 15 years, it's probably more like 2 or 3.
Absolutely.
Right. I can see 2 or 3.
They rushed everything. It's condensed.
It happens so quickly.
Yeah,
So
I wonder how long these relationships do last. Like, do they last a long time? Or I guess a lot of, I guess some abusive relations do last a long time. So they could, you know.
Yeah, again, I think that if the person resigns themselves to their fate, the relationship could last a very long time.
Don't be love bombed.
I agree with that.
Take your time.
Please.
Take your time. That's what we're learning.
Okay.
But again, I think the last thing I say, it's funny because you're not really taught to talk to people, right? I know when I was younger, we was taught to, you know, give girls, that was what we were supposed to do. Like, give them something, give them a flower or something, and they would love, oh my God, Leah, flower! Now I'm gonna give them my flower.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the purpose, you said before, is different. The purpose is sex. That's the ultimate goal. Usually, sex. Not to control her life and control her being. It's to have sex with her. There's a difference.
Yeah.
But it's so funny, but like that's what I talk about, where these people have to have like a different way of thinking, mind. There has to be some mental type illness where you get the like I said, what we're kind of talking is it's still wrong, but we know that we try to get girls to like us, and especially by doing things or wearing the freshest clothes. Like, this is polo, this is, whatever, whether you wear the freshest clothes to get the girl's attention. They, in their mind, they say, you know what? I'm doing this so I can control them forever. Right. I never thought that. I never had to control them forever. I just control for the night. Mine was for the night.
and they might not even use the words control to themselves because they're trying to, they might, it might be more like, I want her to be with me forever.
That's a good point.
So they're almost delusional themselves then.
Yeah. Yes.
Damn, they lying to themselves.
Lying to themselves.
Wow. Mental health.
Right.
It's very important.
Hey, listen,
I need someone to give me this endless supply of affection and attention and love and be there just for me.
Nobody else.
Which is not healthy in any kind of way you think about it. Not healthy. No one is meant to be your everything.
Agreed.
What?
Yes.
Yes. Nobody can be your everything. That's what I'm saying.
No.
Why are you shaking your head, Daryl? You don't agree, Daryl?
I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
But the bomber may not even consciously say to themselves, "I'm going to control this person."
Correct.
Really?
Just make
Okay.
it happen.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I did all that twice.
Thanks, Bruce.
Uh-huh. But I think it's more important it's more important for people to know the signs so that they can see it if it's happening to them. And because I think that especially if it's coming from a place of a personality disorder, like narcissistic personality disorder, insight is
everything.
Insight is very, very little. So they don't see it. So it's important for the person, the victim, to know when it's happening and the exit as early as possible.
Well, people have to get into start being okay with taking time to get to know someone.
Yes.
Yes. It's okay.
Yeah,
and I know it's tough because I know it's tough, right? Because just think about it. Some of the best relationships you had were when you were younger or in a position where you couldn't see the person all the time, where you had to, right? You talk to them like when I was young, you talk to people all night and you would see each other a little bit, but you would talk so much, you know everything about this person. Them. You really would know them. You would know more about. These days, everybody has their own spot, meet up and things are so fast. We don't know the person that we're laying down with a lot of time. We really don't. We really surface. But I think we need to take a step back and really talk to whoever we're dealing with does look different. Hell no, buy me all the gifts you want. The only difference is I ain't falling for the shit. I ain't falling for it. You can buy me all the shit you want. Bomb away. Ooh, another bracelet. Thank you. Ooh, look at these new Jordans. Thank you. Right?
I see you saying that.
So but
when it turns into, why didn't you call me back, Daryl? I called you 5 minutes ago, and they at the office looking for you.
And they popping up at your house.
Yeah, so I don't think it looks different at all. I think it is the same exact thing, maybe the same thing. I don't know, everything the same. Maybe knocking over too, so.
I would agree.
Yes. I think it looks the same. I think it looks the same.
But we really need to slow down and get to know each other. That's really what it is. We really I'm imploring anyone, we meet somebody, talk to them and try to get to know who they are outside of the surface, the very surface level thing. Because that helps out a lot too. You know what I mean? And it's okay to say, you know what, that gift is touch. I don't know you that well. That's okay. And the person should not be hurt. If they're to their core because you accept their little gift, you need to get up out of there.
Yes.
Good time.
I think it's important to set boundaries early.
Yes.
And experiment with them so that you could get an idea of the person's temperament and an idea of what the person, how they operate. You start trying to set boundaries very early in the relationship. Like, no, don't show up at my job. Don't go to my mother's house.
Don't come to my house either.
Don't come to my house.
Right.
Unless I invite you.
Well, listen, I have a question. This happened to me, right? And I think I was love bombed, but I did the bombing. Let me explain. So I met this girl. We talked a lot on the phone. Some people see her. And when I went to see her, I bought I think bought like 5 dozen roses. I didn't know her favorite color, so I bought every color.
Okay.
Right. So I took her the roses, and you know, she was super wet. It was crazy. She was just like, okay. You know, her voice was real high, you couldn't even hear it. Right. So, and like, I think it was cool. I just wanted to bring flowers. I'm cool. And then I remember like, she was like, "Yeah, you want to stay? Stay where? Stay here? I mean, I don't really, but I stayed because it was a far ride, so I stayed. Whatever happened. And then I remember, like, it seemed like things started going a lot faster in her mind, right? Because she was like, I think she asked me why about something like that when I left. I'm like, well, I didn't know. We're not, this is kind of the first time I kind of met. I wasn't really comfortable with everything. I didn't know you that well. We didn't talk enough. We bought on the roses. That means we're together, huh? What is that?
Right.
It means what? What'd you say? It means we're what? What are we talking about here?
Some people move fast.
We're together what? What do you mean, to get on the phone? I'm confused.
In her head,
like, well, I thought she said, you made your intentions well clear with flowers, and I thought that meant that we were together. I said,
oh, that happens a lot.
So I think did I bomb myself? I don't know.
Yes, you bombed yourself.
Because you came with every color rose.
Listen.
Because you didn't know her favorite color. You did.
Listen. You know what I mean? Hey, listen. So, can I go into the produce junction? Maybe like $3 a dozen over there. So, it was nothing to get that. You feel me? You go get them.
But you showed up with every color. That was the problem.
Love bombing on a budget.
And she like, we together.
She really said, like, you made your intention clear when you brought all those flowers.
Your actions.
I was like, what's your name again? Your name. I don't know what you're talking about.
So I think you have to be
crazy.
You have to determine what gestures are bombing and which are just being nice, because the bombing is a whole conglomeration of things. Not just one thing.
Well, I don't know about that, because it was one thing and she wanted the thing.
It was one thing and y'all was together.
Together. Official, she said. I was like, ooh.
Oh, you definitely did.
More than you bargained for sure.
Listen, it was so crazy. And I'm like, I didn't expect that response. That's a new one. That's a new one.
Every color. Again. Too grand of a gesture.
Yes, really. I remember one time I was seeing someone for Valentine's Day, and those heart things with all the candy inside.
Oh yeah.
He took all the candy out and filled it up with miniature almond joys, because that's one of my favorite candies.
Oh no.
I was like, oh, that's so nice. But that could have easily been on the way to a bombing kind of thing. But I just took it as a nice gesture, and it's like, okay, because we wasn't really dating. He was trying to get in. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was very sweet of you. Moving on.
Yeah, because just to think about it, it seems like love bombing starts, great, but then it becomes possessive in nature with the control. And if you can see that, it's like, this is not going to work.
Right.
If you can recognize the signs.
Yes. If you can recognize it. If you can recognize it early and get out, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Because once you're in, I think it's a lot harder.
No,
definitely a lot harder to get out of. Daryl, you still there?
I just see a black screen.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too. Yes.
I don't think.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I don't think I've ever been love bombed. To think about it. Because I don't, the grand gestures too quick. You think that in your head, like, this is too good to be true.
Yes.
too fast, too soon. So I just kind of break it off, like, this is not gonna work. So yeah, I've always thought that. Where is he coming back?
But you hit the nail on the head. You know, things that are happening feel too good to be true.
And a lot of times it is, and people say, "Yeah, I don't." It's good, but I don't. I can see. You know how some people can see right through things and be like, "This is not it." But everybody around them be like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh!" They're so hyped about it. Yeah, got to be careful.
And that's the problem with love bombing. It is too good to be true. And then once you're really comfortable, the situation changes. The script gets flipped.
And you know, it reminds me of like a lot of Lifetime movies that I've seen.
Yes. Yes.
You
The
kept talking about it. I feel
classic
like it's
mode.
Lifetime. Oh my gosh,
Classic. Yes. The
yes.
Lifetime movies. Classic.
And you get drawn in, and it's hard for them to leave, and they stay. Sometimes they have kids, and they sometimes they get married too in the movies, Lifetime movies, and
Yes.
then it don't always turn out great at the end.
No. Every movie is the same way. There's somebody on the outside who sees it, and they're trying to tell you what's happening. Like this person is crazy. This person is, and then at the end they never say I told you so.
Right.
But in the end, they're always right. That's what makes me mad about the Lifetime movie.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's like you're having to fight against them. You move, and they're like the stalking piece, and it gets to that, and you got the lights off, and they're looking through the window, like trying to scare. It's just classic.
Yes.
I just think about every Lifetime movie I've seen. It just relive just different characters.
Yes, that's a good example. I think most Lifetime movies start with a love bomb. They start with somebody being love bomb.
Oh, and another movie when I think about either love bomb, could you consider the movie with what was it called? Enough with Jennifer Lopez. Remember?
Oh
He came in
yes,
the knight in shining armor.
yes.
And her like kind of like father figure. He was older, and he was like, "You need somebody to take care of you. You've been working as a waitress forever." And that was the situation going back real quick. Shiner, they got married real fast. She got pregnant, had the one child. It was just like that when he was cheating with the long time girlfriend or whatever. But yeah, and even the long time girlfriend was like, I would never marry him. And it was just
definitely got love bomb.
And
he turned abusive. Yes.
Yeah, so I just see it. Second thing in terms of movies, yeah. It takes me to that one. And that was one of my favorites. But yeah.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah, I like that one.
Doesn't always end good.
No, I don't think they ever end well. I really don't. Because even if you get to the point where you're aware of what's happening and you're able to get out, I think, or you're wanting to get out, I think it takes a lot to get out. And a lot of heartache.
And when you said earlier, if they're aware, like they sniff you out to target you, to love bomb you, but if they're aware and sense that you would like to leave, they had the people have senses that they're trying to get their stuff together so they can leave me.
Yes. And if you got kids, so now they call in protective services on you all the time. They're finding other ways to control you.
Your life.
Yeah, control your life. So it's never easy to get out.
And then if they keep calling your job, I've seen where in one or two instances, like the calling the job and demanding where she was at, they end up getting fired from their job because it was just like your employer is going to warn you, like this doesn't need to keep happening. And if it keeps yes, I've seen that.
Because you can't stop it.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't stop it.
But it doesn't look good in the workplace. But
no, not at all.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate. But I've seen even that stuff happen.
Because they start to look for other ways to control you. Yeah, I can get you fired. I can make you lose your kid, our kid. I can make you look bad to your family and friends.
And then I even seen one where it was like love bomb. It was they was married for maybe 10 years, and it was like they had these two kids, and it was like, well, if you believe me, I will leave you with nothing. Like I won't set you and the kids up. You have to start from the bottom. So, and they had to start from the bottom, but it was like, are you willing to take this risk to get out this bad situation, or are you gonna stay because he's paying all the bills and taking care of you?
Sometimes it's worth it to start over. I
Exactly.
think. I think, but somebody else might say,
I built
starting
this
over is
life.
hard. Yeah, starting over is hard.
It is hard, but I think it's worth it for your
Mhm.
sanity and your peace and to be
Mhm.
safe, especially if you have kids
Yeah.
and for yourself. So yeah, but it's hard to get
That's
out because they keep going back. Sometimes they go back and go back, and no matter how many times you do not go back, they end up going back.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So it's
But once you've already been conditioned to
mm,
think that I'm the only one that cares about you,
oh yeah, yeah,
I'm the only one that can help you. I'm the only person in your corner, even though I abuse you from time to time. That was yesterday.
it's a new day.
That was
Yeah, that
yesterday.
is so
That
true.
was yesterday. Don't think about that. It makes it hard to leave when you feel like this person really does care about me.
Even when Eve came up with the song "Love Is Blind," like that
Oh yeah.
that music
Yes.
video. That
Yes.
reminds me
Yes.
a lot. It's so many situations that I'm just
Yes.
starting to think about. It reminds me of that too. Like she kept
Hmm.
leaving, but it was just like the lure. And I the one in the video, he bought her like a diamond ring with the diamonds, and she was like, "Oh, he's gonna do like I'm going, yeah." And then she's dead. And it's just unfortunate,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
that happens as well.
Hmm. Yes. Yes. It's sad.
Yeah, it is.
Very sad.
So I just think
But
about it and just try to recognize the signs.
that's what I say. You know, I think a lot of times when women are older,
Okay.
I would say 40s,
Mhm.
and they've never been married, or maybe they don't have any children and they want a family, they might be more susceptible
Okay.
because they're open to things happening in the whirlwind,
Yeah. Okay.
happening quickly, because, you know, men don't have the same kind of time clock we do,
Right.
especially if you want to have children.
Mhm.
So you might be more open to a fast romance.
And what about you? Do you think about younger women with older men that are like 20 years older than them?
Yeah.
Or I feel like that goes fast too.
Yes.
For
Yes.
like if they grow up with dad, or if they did, but they're just used to somebody taking care of them in a
Mhm.
certain way, in a certain fashion, and this older
Mhm.
guy that's 20 years older, they can provide that. What do you feel about that? Like, I think
I think that that can.
love bomb and
Yes. Yes. I think that can you can be love bomb easily as well in that situation,
okay,
because and I know this is not all older men, guys. I know
right. No,
some older men, just like young women. I think, well, I've seen more times than not that they want to be with older women, younger women, because they can control them,
okay,
or they think they can control them.
mhm,
So I think that it's the tendency is more to love bomb young girls when it's an older man.
yeah, I've seen some of that.
Mhm.
Even when I was in my 20s and seeing certain friends, like certain people married people that are like 20, 25 years older than them. And I'm like, oh, dang, that's my at the time. And so now being in my late 30s, I'm like, I'm still seeing it, like, especially hitting the late 30s, almost 40. I know a lot of people who had like, they got married, had a child right at like the 40 to 45 mark, right in there. And it was like, and it's kind of like that pressure, like, oh, you've already had your kids. Oh, you've been married for a long time. You got married young. I was like, yeah, but it's different for everybody.
Yes.
So when everybody else around is married or had kids and they have experienced that, like you said, that could push the timeline up.
Yes. And make you more susceptible.
And I've seen it where they were very susceptible, and it ended in divorce because of the person, or the person never saw themselves being abused in any type of way. So it's hard to get out. It was hard to say, but it was hard to get out too, because they wanted the family. They wanted the husband. They wanted to build this life together. And they was going to have to give that up, even though they was well off. It wasn't even about the money. They was going to have to give all of this up to be by themselves again, to be a single mom. But it took many years to come to that and be okay with that.
Right.
So yeah, because just that piece that you mentioned with older, like the 40 and above, that can have you staying when it's not, you've been love bombed and promised this, I'm going to do this, give you the world, and it doesn't happen.
Yes. But it can make you stick in there hoping and wishing.
Because today is a new day. So the next day, he, might bring flowers or might upgrade your ring, or even if you are married, you're like, it's like that split of hope that it's getting better.
Yes.
Right back to the same old stuff. So yeah, I've seen that, and it's unfortunate, but
it is. Yeah. And I think, like you said, when it's a younger woman and an older man, looking for somebody to control, I always wonder, like, with older men, why are you dating somebody 20 years your junior? Why can't you date women your own age?
They date women younger than their kids.
Right. Yeah, why can't you date? Because I don't say why won't you. Why can't you date women your own age? Because they see through you. They're more mature and they know what's happening.
They have expectations. They're not taking your bullshit.
That's
what happens a lot of times too. And by time the young lady is schooled, sometimes 5 years going by and he done saddled you with 3 or 4 kids. Back to back to back to back. And you may have time to notice it.
Right.
you got other responsibilities at that point. And your life looks different. So that's part of control too.
Yes, it is.
Because once you have that 1, 2, and 3, you can't just easily leave the house. And then if you done been in the house and you don't know how to drive, you don't have access to certain things. Or to vehicles. Or if he controls all the money, you don't have access to even get on the bus. Like that, this happens every day. So the love bombing can really lead to other situations. That you're just like, what? In the blink of an eye, you like, it could be 2 or 3 years and so much happened in that time. So yeah.
2 or 3 years, you can have 2 or 3 kids. Like you said.
I've seen it. So yeah, so I think I'm good we were talking about this because it's just important to know,
I agree. And I think that, like Daryl was saying, the takeaway is to be aware. Be aware and notice when it's happening, and not be so quick to jump in with both feet just because it looks good.
Yes, everything that glitters ain't gold. And what my grandma used to say, it was like, don't put your eggs all in one basket.
Exactly.
Because the shoe could drop at any moment. That's what I used to get told growing up. Definitely. I mean, not saying that you can't be in a relationship and have one foot in, one foot out. No, but just be cautious and aware.
Yes.
There are certain things that happen if something is a little bit off, even if it don't look off, if it feels a little bit off, it's something to really think about, to explore your intuition and really look into it. Sometimes you feel something and I put your finger on it.
Yes. I think a lot of times we don't trust our gut.
And every time we go against it, something pops up and you're like, dang, I saw that. Like the red flags sometimes are just there. Is if you will, a lot of times is if you choose to look at them or not.
God, pay attention. Guys and girls, pay attention.
Both.
Both. Pay attention and make sure you're not being love bombed. We will see you guys next Friday. If you have a topic you want us to cover, shoot us a message on Relationship Flow or our pages, the Joya Camp, Daryl, or me, or Mary. So we will talk to you guys next Friday. Good night.